When negligence destroys.
Cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading.
When history repeats itself.
Watch out! Watch out!
This is the sad tale of Ryan International Airlines Flight 590 coming up. Sunday, the 17th of February, 1991. As midnight falls over the United States of America, in the state of Ohio, in the city of Cleveland, at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, Ryan International Airlines Flight 590 is taxiing to the runway for its scheduled flight from Buffalo to Indianapolis, with a stopover at Cleveland. The route Cleveland to Indianapolis is just a short flight, and this will be the crew's last flight of the day. The plane operating this flight is a McDonnell Douglas DC-9 freight version. In command of this flight and at the left seat is 44-year-old David Ray, and at his aide and at the right seat is 28-year-old Richard Dooney Jr. They are both fairly new to the DC-9 but are very well known to be good pilots. It's 0017 local time, and from here we played the cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder as we join the crew for their short flight to Indianapolis. Before I roll the tape, please subscribe to the channel. It won't take you 2 seconds.
Ryan 590 cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading.
All right, you have control.
I have control.
Okay, we're at 23 left, and we appreciate your help. Ryan 590.
You're very welcome. Wayne's at 230 at 12 knots.
Copy, and we are rolling.
All right.
Okay, airspeed's a lot. Engines are stabilized. Power's set for departure.
Check.
100 knots. View. Rotate. V2. Plus 10. Positive rate. Whoop. Watch out! Watch out! Watch out!
At 0018 local time, seconds after starting their takeoff, Ryan International Airlines Flight 590 crashes to the left of runway 23 left. Thankfully, no fire is started, but both pilots are killed due to trauma. The airport is closed and an investigation immediately starts. Sadly, this is not the first time that such an accident has happened, and investigators will be shocked when they know that it happened again. So, why did this plane end up upside down, killing 2 people? Let's find out. The 4 factors that could have caused this crash are: 1. Unbalanced fuel. 2. Asymmetric flap failure. 3. Icing. And 4. Pilot error. So let's start with factor number 1, unbalanced fuel. If more fuel was on the left wing, then it is possible to think that more lift or speed was required to lift the left wing into the skies. But this was quickly ruled out as eyewitness accounts from the airport's ground handlers said that they saw the plane lift into the sky for a second. If it was truly unbalanced fuel, then they could not have gotten into the sky. So let's go to factor number 2, asymmetric flap failure. In simple terms, asymmetric flap failure is when the left flap and right flap are both at different positions instead of being at a uniform position. Deadly accidents have happened because of flaps not being at their right positions, like American Airlines Flight 191, LR Flight 1962, and many more. But sadly, after examining the wing parts and the flight data recorder, the flaps were at their right position, so it didn't happen because of flaps. Let's go to factor number 3, icing. The DC-9 is one of those planes that is very, very vulnerable when its wings are contaminated with ice. And sadly enough, it was snowing with a temperature of -5 degrees. If ice was on the wings, then this flight was doomed to crash. But there is a way to prevent snow from forming on the wings, and this is by de-icing. So a big question arises: did the pilots de-ice before taking off? Let's go to factor number 4 to find out. Pilot error. To find out if the pilots de-iced, the investigators asked the ground crew that loaded the cargo in the doomed plane if the crew de-iced, and they all gave one answer: no, they did not de-ice. And they never made any walk around to inspect the plane. The investigators also checked the cockpit voice recorder, since it also heard the conversation of the pilots when they were still at the stand loading the cargo. And no word of de-icing and walk around was ever heard till the start of the takeoff run. How could the crew do such a thing when the weather condition was as bad as it was? Maybe the long, exhausting schedule might have made them tired, or maybe they got distracted and forgot to do it completely. But it's possible that they never did it because the ice started to fall when they were on the ground. Whatever the reason was, we will never know because no conclusive evidence was ever found. So, with this information, let us see how the chains of events unfolded that day. At 23:44 local time, 14 minutes before midnight, Ryan International Airlines Flight 590 lands at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport for its stopover before continuing its flight to Indianapolis. The plane parks and the ground crew starts doing their thing on the aircraft. Coincidentally, blowing snow starts to fall during the time the aircraft is parked. But from when the ground crew starts working till they finish, the pilots do not call for de-icing, nor do they do a walk around and inspect the plane. We don't know why they did not do it. And so, at 00:09 local time, 9 minutes after midnight, the pilots start to taxi their plane to the runway, unaware that there is ice on the wings. At 00:17 local time, they line up on the runway, and a minute later, they begin their last takeoff of their lives. The acceleration is good, and so as they reach their rated speed, the pilots pull the yoke and the nose starts to rise. They lift off from the ground, but with ice on the wings, that lift is disrupted on the left wing, making it lose lift, which in other terms makes the left wing drop, making the plane turn 90 degrees to the left. Miraculously, the snow starts to get off the wings, but the stick shaker then activates, warning the pilots of a pending stall. Flying a few feet from the ground, it was impossible to save the aircraft as the left wing touches the ground, flipping the plane and ultimately sealing the two pilots' fate. Sadly enough, this is not the first time that a crash like this has happened. Air Ontario Flight 1363 in 1989, Continental Airlines Flight 1713 in 1987, Ozark Airlines Flight 982 in 1968, all caused by pilots not de-icing. And sadly enough, 1 year later, USA Flight 405 in 1992 crashes due to the same reason, icing. But thankfully, after these accidents, the aviation industry has evolved and now is more careful of the effects of icing. May the two souls rest in peace. Thank you for watching another video of Minutes from Disaster. Consider subscribing as it will really help me make more videos. As always, you can watch other videos from my channel on your screen right now. See you next time. Bye.